Wyabb! Wyabb! I'm back! My friends and I are here to heal you. Wyabb? Can you hear me? Wyabb? So we were right. The contamination is already too severe. It's preventing the Wyabb from answering our calls. Alright, get ready everyone. Time to purge the abyssal energy from this place.
Careful. We've got company.
Already?
You really think that puny soul could slow me down? Courage in the face of futility is pure folly. He tried to get in my way, so I disposed of him.
You killed Malco?
He would have dispersed with or without me. Rather than worrying about him, I would urge you to focus on yourself. You may have defeated others of my kind in the past, but underestimate me now, and it will be to your peril. No, the power of the Abyss is intoxicating. The destruction it seeks captivates like a masterful work of art. I strive only for the opportunity to see it up close. I thought this naive little girl was an exception, but it turns out humanity is full of lambs willing to offer themselves up to the slaughter. That is the tragedy of your short lives. You understand nothing of all-encompassing power. Ancient names, pride, friendship, all empty ideas invented to give you a false sense of self-worth. They possess no power at all. The Pyro Archon created those grandiose ideals out of pure selfishness. Anything to avoid sharing power. Anything to avoid handing over the primordial gift to ordinary people like you. Don't believe me? Then ask yourself, why is the Pyro Archon strong beyond measure, while you, Kachina, remain so pathetically weak?
Kachina, give me your hand. Feel that? I'm right here next to you. Thanks, Moalani. You're right. I have nothing to fear. Because I'm not alone anymore. You're right. Maybe comforting ideals don't have any power. But you also couldn't be more wrong. You've never had to work for your own strength, so you will never understand the true source of our power.
What?
The courage we have to stand before you and not back down? It comes from our friendship. The power lies not in the ideal itself, but in our commitment to upholding that ideal, and in our decision to stand together and fight! Well said! Let's go, Kachina. It shouldn't take more than 2 of us to handle an enemy like this. Sorry in advance, but you deserve what's coming to you! There aren't many in Natlan who can beat us when we're together. It's time he got a taste of that kind of power.
From the ash?
Clear the area! Get fast!
What of all price?
Ho! Ho! We won! We actually won! That's what he gets for underestimating you two. Fantastic work, Kachina! Absolutely fantastic! This makes me so unbelievably happy. I'm happy too, Moalani. Together we really are unstoppable! ancient name is glowing? But I thought I didn't bring it with me.
It's probably a projection from the real world. But that doesn't explain why it's glowing all of a sudden.
Wait, does that mean you're...
That was a bold move, diving headfirst into the fire to save your friend, especially in a place so overrun with abyssal corruption. Still, seeing you pull it off was really something. Everything you said was exactly right. As isolated individuals, we stand no chance against the power of the Abyss. It took years' worth of scars and lots of unnecessary suffering for me to understand that for myself. The Pyro Archon's plan will unite us as one. Everyone has a part to play. Only then will we have the power to defeat the strongest of foes.
Who are you?
Tupac, a warrior from the people of the Springs. I fought against the Abyss during the invasion 500 years ago.
I've heard that name before. You were the giant who saved all of Natlan.
Since you were able to awaken my words from your ancient name, that means you have fully embodied the aspirations of the Wayub. Under the name Umoja, you shall unite the tribes and save Natlan from its impending doom.
Me?
As long as blood still runs through your veins, even the tiniest spark of steel against stone can ignite a flame. Its blaze will become one with our vision for Natlan. Even amid everlasting darkness, our bonds remain eternal.
What's wrong, Moalani? So many memories. My brain was just flooded with everything he once knew. So that's what happened.
What do you mean? Did you just figure something out?
500 years ago, they foresaw the very crisis we're facing now. Efforts to save Natlan started all the way back then.
We can go over the details once we get back. We shouldn't linger here longer than we have to. I know bits and pieces, but I had no idea Mualani was also part of the plan.
This sounds like something that's going to need a lot of explaining. Let's focus on saving the Wayub first. Okay, that should be enough. Wayub? Wayub? Can you hear me?
I hear your voice, Kachina, my dear child.
Great. Well then, I'm afraid it's time to say goodbye. I just wanted to make sure you were okay before we leave, but we can't afford to stay here any longer. I was going to ask why you bestowed an ancient name upon someone like me, but it's okay. I'll keep searching within myself for the answer. I'll never stop trying to improve my strength. One day, I'll live up to the hero you saw in me.
You are already an outstanding child in my eyes, Kachina. No matter what happens. You are all my most beloved children, It has always been my honor to protect and nurture you. Your ancient name is just that. A name. Much like your parents chose to name you Kachina, I also gave you a name, but it need not define you. Focus on who you want to be. You are already worthy of your name. Now, you need only devote yourself to becoming a better you. The story of your ancient name is for you to continue. Just like your parents, my love for you will never change, no matter what the future holds.
Thank you, Wyatt.
It gladdens me to see the Pyro Archon's plan move another step towards completion. But it is time for you to leave this place. The situation here is getting worse. Go now, my children. Save Natlan on behalf of all you hold dear.
I know we've never met before, Wyatt, but I just wanted to say thank you for encouraging Kachina. It was exactly what she needed to hear.
Whoa! What's going on? An earthquake? We're out of time.
It's the power of the Abyss. Quick, we need to run!
It's a Seelie! The Seelie opened the way for us!
You've done well. Now come home.
We're back! The Pyro Archon saved us. But she's not here. Yeah, didn't she say she used it all up? She's still in the speaker's chamber. What we saw in the Night Kingdom was just her consciousness. So you're saying her consciousness did all that? Every great display of power comes at a price.
You must feel terrible, Kachina. Just hold on. We'll get you to a doctor soon. Let's get back to the stadium. The Pyro Archon said she'd have a doctor waiting for us.
I recommend getting a full checkup, just to make sure no damage gets left behind.
Paimon feels okay. What about you, Traveler? Right. You always seem to do pretty well against the Abyss. Let's get going. We need to share what we learned in the Night Kingdom as well. Right. The Y-Up mentioned something about the Pyro Archon's plan. What is it exactly? I'll let her explain everything. We're all a part of the plan now. Every move we make from here on out will decide Natlan's ultimate fate. Huh. There's a lot less stuff here than before.
It's good to see you all here in one piece. I know you must have a lot of questions, but let Koichi check you over first. It's best not to let any lingering effects of the Abyss go untreated.
Thank goodness you made it back. I came here as soon as the Pyro Archon told me about your plan. Take a seat, everybody. I'll examine you one by one. All right, that should do it for now. But just to be safe, I'll perform another checkup in a couple of days. I have to say, though, I've never seen anyone react to the Abyss like you, Traveler. It's like you're completely immune to its power.
He always has been special like that. He can even purify its power. Wait, now that you mention it, Paimon doesn't think she's affected either.
Given the current situation, that ability will likely play a great role in the events to come.
Of course. I still have patients to see, so I'll head out.
Thank you, Koichi.
All right. We might not see eye to eye, but we both had good intentions. Just give it time. I'm sure we'll figure things out between us one day.
Yeah.
All right. There's so much to discuss, I don't even know where to begin. You've seen it for yourselves now. The devastation in the Night Kingdom. I'll get straight to the point. Natlan is on the verge of destruction. It's very possible our nation has less than a year before total devastation.
Huh? No. That can't be true, can it?
That's right. But I've only ever disclosed that fact to the handful of people working with me to save this nation. Our looming destruction is not a recent development, but the inevitable conclusion of the disaster the Abyss initiated 500 years ago.
Mualani told us a little bit about that.
500 years ago, all the nations of Teyvat were invaded by the Abyss. Unlike the other nations, Natlan never had stable and deep-rooted ley lines, so we suffered the worst of the invasion. The battle against the Abyss was exceedingly long and brutal. In the end, victory came at the cost of our civilization and countless lives. Even then, it took centuries of solving the disasters caused by the Abyss to finally achieve the peace we know today. And still, this is but a superficial victory. The forces of the Abyss have merely been driven back underground. Their threat to Natlan remains as real as ever.
I'd never have guessed.
The problems plaguing the Night Kingdom are all the more complicated because that realm is essentially functioning as Natlan's ley lines. Immediately after the war, our calculations estimated that we would have a maximum of 500 years before the Night Kingdom was completely lost to the Abyss. But at that time, we were a nation of the destitute. Our people no longer believed in victory, nor did they hold hope for the future. Our civilization was dying, our faith crumbling, and the line of power passed down from the Wyab nearly severed. If we didn't bring the nation back together, it would be foolish to even dream of defeating the Abyss in the future. So, the Archon had a long and involved discussion with the heroes of each tribe, and finally came up with a 500-year-long plan to save Natlan.
So that's what happened. After finding Kachina, I encountered a strange figure who gave me a series of new memories. Since the plan was mentioned in those memories, I guess I've been chosen to play an important role in it. But there's still something I don't understand. Those memories showed me the Pyro Archon from back then. And it was you.
Huh? But that doesn't make any sense! The Pyro Archon is supposed to be human. It's impossible for a human to live that long.
That's right. The hardest thing for humans to overcome has always been time. Or rather, the natural limitations of our lifespan. A god can extend a human's life by using a certain amount of divine power, or subjecting them to a curse. But, as we all know, Natlan doesn't have gods like that. We can only rely on our own methods. A human life is like a flame destined to be extinguished. 500 years ago, I placed my life within the sacred flame. Only by dying before my time could I have the chance to wake up again.
So, in other words, this is your second life?
Yes. We only managed to defeat the Abyss all those years ago because the tribes came together as one. If the Natlan of the future was to have a fighting chance, the Pyro Archons that came after the war had to rebuild the decimated tribes. The goal was to reunite the people and restore the strength of each tribe's Wayab. Once a tribe was back to its full strength, the tribe's Wayab would select a hero, indicating the tribe was once again ready for war. The Chosen would then stand by my side in defense of our nation, just like great heroes of old 500 years ago.
So that means I'm one of the Chosen?
That's right. You bear the ancient name Umoja, the same one held by the hero from your tribe 500 years ago. It means unity. After your adventure in the Night Kingdom, I trust you've come to fully understand the meaning of that name.
So in other words, you always knew who the Wayab were going to pick from each tribe?
Yes. According to the plan, each tribe was supposed to have been fully restored by the time I awoke. But something went wrong along the way. The 6 heroes successfully inherited the ancient names from 500 years ago, but the intel regarding the plan wasn't passed on to them. Once again, it comes down to the deterioration of the Night Kingdom. Communication between the Sacred Flame and the Wayab has been blocked.
Just like how the Ode of Resurrection failed to bring Kachina back.
Exactly. It's just another tactic the Abyss is using against us. The Abyss may not possess intelligence, but its methods certainly aren't easy to counter. If we want to unblock that information from being passed on, my presence alone isn't enough. The ancient name-bearer must establish a greater connection to their name. So, I've tried my best to help them from the sidelines. Currently, Shilonin of the Children of Echoes, Kinich of the Scions of the Canopy, and Iansan of the Collective of Plenty have all been acknowledged by their names. During your adventure, you too earned the acknowledgement of your Wayab, Mualani. In the process, you gained the memories stored within your name.
But we have less than a year!
Yes, but we have no choice. We cannot start the plan until all the heroes have been gathered. That's also why I haven't been able to take action despite the urgency of the situation.
But if you knew this whole time, why didn't you just tell me about my role in all this? Wouldn't that make everything go a lot faster?
Perhaps, but the opposite could also be true. Knowing your destiny too early could mean failing to realize your full potential. Just like your determination to save Kachina, I hope your commitment to this endeavor comes from your own strength of will, rather than a sense of obligation.
So I suppose you're not going to tell us who the final 2 heroes are then?
That's right. Their time is yet to come. Putting pressure on them beforehand will only hinder their development. I can only trust in the judgment of the Wayab. I have never believed I could solve this crisis alone. In fact, it was precisely because I chose to trust and rely on others that we managed to get this far. Natlan's salvation lies not in its Archon or any singular individual, but in us all. You're quite perceptive, aren't you? I thought I might get away with avoiding the topic.
Huh? Oh, right! All the stuff you stored here before, where did it all go?
Even though I sacrificed my power, I still needed a contingency plan to ensure you would make it back from the Night Kingdom. After all, I was the one who allowed you to take that risk, and Mualani has an important role to play in my plan. In addition to their sentimental value, the items I stored here held a much more important purpose: fuel.
Fuel? Ah, so back then, that's why you...
Yes. The stories embodied by those items are certainly important, but there's an even more significant trait they all share. Every item belonged to a hero of Natlan. Over time, they became imbued with a certain amount of contending fire from being carried in battle. On their own, each item's power is limited, but together, their combined effect can prove quite useful in a dire situation. By burning those items, I was able to activate the contending fire stored within them to open the boundary between the two worlds. It was a rather crude approach, so all their power was depleted in an instant, as you can see.
But weren't they all precious treasures? What about their stories?
That's exactly why I dragged you all here. No matter what, I never wanted the Pyro Archon to have to use that power. Oh, I'm so sorry.
You have nothing to be sorry for. You all deserve my thanks, actually. If you hadn't saved the totem pole, that area of the Night Kingdom would have been forever lost to the Abyss. And then, it would only be a matter of time before the Children of Echoes was met with disaster. Besides, when those heroes entrusted their belongings to me, or the Pyro Archon of their time, it was out of a desire to contribute to Natlan's survival. If they knew those items helped save the present-day heroes of Natlan, they would not mourn their loss.
Even when you put it that way, I still feel bad.
There's no need. Remember what I told you about time? The people and the events of the past are never truly lost to us. We simply carry them with us in a different form. In that sense, we didn't lose anything at all. If you still have regrets, let them fuel your resolve in the battles to come. Your deeds will become new legends and nurture new forms of power just like the items once stored here.
Well, we'd still like to return the favor.
Well, if that's the case, just treat me to a drink sometime. Now that Kachina has returned, we can finally hold the victory feast and celebrate your team's triumph in the Night Warden Wars. And we could all use the rest, that's for sure. Plus, you'll be able to silence everyone who doubted you once and for all, Kachina.
Still, now that I know the danger we're facing, having a victory feast doesn't feel right.
Try not to let it get to you. It's important to stay calm. Worrying about it will only affect your judgment. All right, you should head out. I'll join you in a bit.